Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanine. So we're going to begin here. Everything that has a beginning has an ending, and it goes the other way as well. Everything that has an ending, oftentimes it is the beginning of something new. This is the way that it is in life overall. And so we are bearing witness to the ending of the legacy system, at least the legacy system as we know it. And we are also bearing witness to the rise of the new financial system. Now, what that means to us, we get to define that. If we take control of the situation, we have a great deal of control over what the future will become. We have an article here. It's on finbowl.com. They're starting to tell. Have to have a little bit of fun. They're telling on themselves left and right every week. The headline of this article is People's Party of Canada founder says monetary reset is coming. The Great Reset. The new financial system. We're having high-ranking official after high-ranking official now coming out and telling the people for the last few months that the great monetary reset is upon us. What does that mean for you and I, holders of the new financial system? At least we're holding the gears that make it work. What is it that the XRP army says? We are the bridge. Oh, I love some of their catchphrases, are so spot on. Smells so good. Breathe it in. Do you smell the money? We're going to get into the article. Just bear with me. But see, in order to make money, you have to work towards the money. Smell the money. Taste the money. You have to be hungry to make money. When you wake up in the morning, it's time to make money. You have to be focused, strong in body, strong of mind. How bad do you want it? And this goes across anything. You have to be willing to take it by the collar and walk it to where you want it to go. Take the bull by the horns. And I don't see the new financial system being any different. I'm grabbing the bull by the horns. I'm taking it where I want it to go. It says the new monetary system of a new monetary reset is coming. Oh my goodness, we keep winning. Let's read this little tidbit here. I'm going to try to calm down. I'm very excited. The founder of the People's Party of Canada, Maxime Bernier, let's keep that name in mind. We're going to have to do some research on this individual, has suggested that the current fiat currency system is outdated and needs a reset. Do you believe that he's the only one that feels this way? That he has not had these discussions with his peers? Oh, it's a glorious day coming. They need what we have. They need the liquidity. They need the speed. They need the traceability. They need the lowering of fees to run payroll. Oh, they need it all. XRP, XLM, Algorand, Hedera, Cello are at the forefront. Quant. And we hold those particular assets. It's a beautiful day to be alive. Oh, they try so hard to spread their FUD. They're trying so hard to slow us down, but they can't. Because we are warriors. We keep going until we have the victory. So speaking during an interview with Kitco News on August 12th, Bernier slammed the existing monetary system. That's right, sir, you slam it. I've been slamming it for over a year now on YouTube. Used to do it in the comment sections on Webull. It's antiquated. It's over. Just most people they won't accept it. I understand that, but they will have to use. Will have to use the new monetary system. As simple as that, because the old system has failed. But let's continue on here. Bernier slammed the existing monetary system over what he termed as debasement due to excessive printing by central banks. Haven't I been saying this? The banks are printing money like they've lost their minds. They're going to be printing more. They're supposed to be fighting inflation. They're printing more money. Not only that, they're printing more money. The people are still suffering from inflation. They brought it down a tiny percentage. The governments are celebrating. They're celebrating while they're hiring thousands of new IRS agents to do what? They're not, listen, the wealthy can move out of the United States. The wealthy are going to have tax loopholes. They know how to use it. So they're not going to just be able to scrape it up from the wealthy. That almost never happens. They say that sounds good. It just sounds good. The wealthy will take their businesses, as I showed you in articles yesterday, they're already doing it in mass. They will take their businesses to other countries with greener pastures, and they will avoid all of that pressure from the United States. They will take their families to other places. And so, because of the flaws of the legacy system, all of that is going to fall on the heads of the regular people, the middle class and the lower class individuals. As I said before, are the people really going to let this happen? We will see. The people, hey, I can't tell them what to do, but if I were the people, I'd stand up for myself. Let's continue on here. Claims that the existing monetary system over what he termed as debasement due to excessive printing by central banks. Oh, yeah. So that's what I was getting to. So they're doing that because they have to collect more money for what it is they want to do. And they're doing it by taking money from the people after they have already printed excess money and gave the people excess money. Do you see how that's working? The fundamental flaw there? But yes, the new financial system is coming. Then listen to this. According to Bernier, he is certain the reset will likely occur in the future and needs to be backed by a commodity like gold. I've been saying this for a long time. I believe all systems will need to be backed by something. It doesn't even have to be by gold. You already see what Russia and China are proposing. Not just gold, but the possibility of backing it with unique minerals that only your country can have access to, which makes it rare, which makes it have a high value. Gold, there will be more gold being mined than ever in the upcoming years. So that's going to bring a lot into question about the value of gold. Certain nations have uncovered a giant cache of gold bullion, all right? And so they're going to be mining more than ever, especially now that certain nations are going to want to back their currencies with gold. So then that does bring into questions backing your currencies with more unique minerals or materials. There's a bevy of ways, there's a myriad of ways you can go about this. It's just a matter of the governments, if they still have it in them, to operate with enough intelligence to utilize some of those means. So yes, the new financial system will definitely be instituted, but then there's other factors, there's other variables that they need to combine with the system to ensure that it carries out the function that it needs to carry. As I said, these nations, unless they want mutually assured destruction, they will have to negotiate at some point. They will have to come to the table at some point. They cannot remain in contention with each other. This is my humble opinion. My humble opinion. All right, so now let's go on to another article here. I just wanted to start off with that because XRP, XLM, Algorand, Cello, the bank coins, Quant, XDC will be the biggest winners in all of this. They will explode in price and no one can put a cap on how much or how high they can go. No one knows because it is all determined on what is rendered on the blockchain, what is rendered on that distributed ledger technology. And we don't know yet. XRP can go to an extremely high price. I'm not going to put out my price, but it can go to an extremely high price. It's dependent upon what's going to be issued on that particular block, on that particular technology. Debt, nostro vostro, liquidity, which is going to be freed up, capital, value, however you want to put it. Payroll, B2B, P2P, cross-border payments. That's tiny money at this point. And people, I love, reading about the cross-border money still. But we've gone on to bigger and better things to concentrate on. And so even the cross-border money is small money at this point. Like $150 trillion when we're talking about quadrillions, when we talk about interbank payments. See, that's the hard stuff. To look into those, to look into the money that's flowing through the system, which, by the way, I'm about to post something, a document for you. Oh, it's delicious. In the members only section. Hit that join button. Make sure when you do, you go over to the community section. You're going to have access to all the members only documents. When I post this, look at the money. Right? And then remember how many of these institutions Quant is working with, Ripple will be working with, XLM, Algorand. But we'll get to that at another time. But I will be posting that document later. Let's move on here to this article. We'll go to a nice little light article here on u.today. This article begins as such. 270 million XRP moved with Ripple's direct participation. Here's where. They're getting ready. Look at how much has been going on. And you're starting to see a lot of the bank coins heat up with activity. Stellar has been heating up with activity. Cello has been heating up with activity. Did you see the tweet that they put out? They were, oh man, it's starting to get fun again. It's starting to get fun again and very interesting. Let's read this little tidbit here. According to data recently shared by popular crypto tracking service Whale Alert, over the past 2 days, nearly 300 million XRP tokens have been shifted between major crypto exchanges. Ripple fintech giant took a direct part in transferring these funds as the company continues to send large amounts of XRP to be converted into millions of US dollars. Ripple sells 50 million XRP on Bitstamp. They're getting the corridors ready. They're getting on-demand liquidity ready. Whale Alert has tweeted that in the last 48 hours, a substantial amount of XRP tokens totaling nearly 300 million XRP has been moved. The amount sent by the crypto giant Ripple comprised 50 million tokens, which is worth $18,777,694 at the current XRP exchange rate. Head over to u.today. They're doing a great job. You can read the rest of this article right on the front page, okay? Unless they move it, I have nothing to do with that. But go check them out. They're doing a great job over there. All of the banks are running tests right now. They're getting ready. They're prepping. Within sandboxes, that's another thing. Within sandboxes, as you saw, MTech, that's another thing. MTech has been putting out beautiful information as of late. I don't know if everybody's been seeing that. I haven't been able to cover everything. There's so much news coming out. I don't think one channel can cover everything. Just can't. They're all getting ready, testing the bank coins in digital sandboxes to get a real world feel, for anything that may go right, to be able to observe data for things that go right, that are beneficial, and anything that might be a flaw, which I doubt that they're having any type of flaws whatsoever. But this is how they're testing things out. As you've seen, Ripple float sandboxes in the past. Definitely Hedera via MTech has been floating sandboxes. And I believe Algorand also had a sandbox that they were pushing for a while. I don't remember if it was directly from Algorand or via Coinbanks, but I believe I remember that correctly. Don't quote me on that. But they're all testing these out in digital sandboxes. And I believe this has a lot to do with what is going on with the moving of XRP here and there. Also, they're going to test it out in the real world as well in a closed environment. I would believe it's happening in closed environments, okay? Before they roll everything out. This is very good activity. We want everything to go off without a problem so that money will flow and so the price will pop, explode. Let's not say pop, let's say explode. It's a little bit better, right? Let's go here. So this was a tweet from Ripple X. It goes as such. CBDCs shed light on challenges and innovation for developers. Ripple recently announced its partnership with the Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan. My goodness, look at how many big entities we're working with. To pilot that nation's first central bank digital currency using technology underlying the XRP ledger. The technical requirements for this project, as for all CBDCs, are demanding. We're pushing the limits of conventional blockchain technologies and inventing new technologies along the way. Though we can't talk about many details of Ripple's CBDC solution, some general reflections around CBDC development can help illuminate the full potential of this area. Here we go. Here's some bullet points. Some key considerations for CBDC ledgers include: first bullet point, financial inclusion, speed, throughput, transaction costs, and sustainability. Now, this is going to sound very funny, but when I read financial inclusion, I don't believe the banks for 1 second care about the little people on the ground. Of course, they will take their money. They do want them to participate, so maybe they mean in that way. All businesses want to make money. Don't ever forget it. Don't let them play hero. I just like to keep that in mind, all right? So yes, they do want to scrape up money that they couldn't access before. So I think about that primarily when they say financial inclusion. That's number one. Secondarily, I believe that they are including themselves. They're saying we're going to financially include ourselves in this new financial system, so we're not left behind. Third bullet point, interoperability. Let me pause. And I say that because, listen, the new financial system doesn't need the legacy system. It doesn't. It could operate on its own. It could grow over time. It would grow exponentially, and slowly it would dominate because people would choose it over the legacy system. However, the legacy system definitely would provide a lot of blockades in the road, a lot of boulders to the progress, to slow down the progress of the new financial system, which is why they're going to congeal with it and work with them. Better to work with them than against them. So as they are bleeding out and dying, we will absorb them in their entirety. The entirety of the system will be transformed. All of that money will flow out of them and majorly into us. They will only keep a modicum of the old capital within that old system because it cannot be, it is not sustainable into the future. As you've heard so many esteemed individuals say, we would dominate them. That's why they were forced to congeal with us. Now, let's continue on here. Third bullet point, interoperability and liquidity. They have a liquidity crisis going on. You can't continue to print money. And that's what they've been doing. Printing unbacked money, there's no way to keep track of that money either. So they lose a lot of it that they do print. They don't know what people are doing with it. And that's been one of their main complaints. So when they're talking about illicit activities, a lot of times it's a veiled way to say, listen, we want to know where all this money is going that we're printing. Because if they know where all the money is going that they printed, they can allocate it and they can reallocate it in better ways, and they can increase on their returns on investment and the money that they are making. Like, you understand accessibility to people's data, information, corridors, knowing what the money is spent on. This is all this is all information that can be used to generate more money. When they know these things, they sell that information. It's like Google, even some protocol like Graph and such like that. They collect data and sell it. It goes for big money. They want that money. The banks take the data from the little bit of data that they are to collect now, and they sell it. Not only that, they make a lot of money on storing, not really storing, but you hand them your capital and then they lend it out and stuff like that, and they make a lot of money off that. They'll be able to make exponentially more money with CBDC and with the new financial system. Look at the crazy return. What do they call it? Like annual percentage yields. All of this extra money that you can gain just from staking certain protocol. My apologies. I forgot a certain word that I wanted to use. They will do more than what you've seen. If not for you, they're going to do it for themselves. Behind the scenes, they're going to make disgusting returns on investment. They know this. They can only do it via these new means, because that capital and that data can only be accessed and loosened up and reallocated via the new system. I think this is just logical for anybody that knows the functions of the new system. I could be completely wrong, but this is what I'm seeing. Smart contracts and programmability. They want that so badly. That's another reason they're going to buy, in my humble opinion, they're going to buy up all the bank coins. They will not leave it out there for others to utilize, and they have enough capital to buy everything. Keep in mind, these are entities that print money as much as they want, and there is no one to hold them accountable. They can buy anything that they please. All right, so let's just keep that in mind. For example, the Fed is working with blockchains already, like Cypherium and such like that, which I am looking for a way to store Cypherium. If I have to, probably on Monday, I will give Cypherium a phone call if I can't find a way to properly store Cypherium safely. And hopefully I can find a solution for that, as that was a request from one of our esteemed members. But you see that they're already working with the blockchain is what I wanted to say. That so the precedent has already been set. So they see that this is the way of the future. They have XRP, Ripple, sorry about that. They have Ripple on their Faster Payments Council. They already have deep ties and relationships with Stellar and with Algorand. Where do those prices go if they also begin to work with the Fed to any capacity? Like I said, and also don't ever forget the commercial banks. We're going to take their money as well. We're going to take central bank money and we're going to take commercial bank money. As I said, I'm going to post a document in that members only section. Hit that little join button. Don't forget later on, give that document a read. Oh, the money is so good. You're going to love it. Next, so programmability. I'm saying all that to get to this about programmability. When they issue money in the future, if they have to do stimulus checks, and they will, because there will be more crisis. There will be more inflation. They're going to cause it themselves. They already have caused it. It just hasn't caught up yet. There's going to be more crisis. For example, they still haven't addressed the coal issue. There's going to be a lot of that around the world. There was a coal shortage, which means that there's so much going on. Because of certain things, they're probably going to have to issue more money in some sort of capacity, even if it's not stimulus money. And that's going to cause more inflation. It's a never-ending circle with this old, antiquated system. So with programmability, they'll be able to say, listen, we're going to put this money out now, but they can put a timer on it. You have this long to use this money. This money is only going to be in circulation for this long. And that contract or that program will be able to delete that capital from the system. This is something that they can definitely do. And I know if I'm thinking about that they've thought about that. I believe that. And then also they can control where that money goes. If they don't want to go into this corridor, they say, well, this is illicit activities here. They can just shut that down and stop it. And really, when you look at all of the digital things that the governments want to be into, a lot of it is about control. Well, let me play it safe. I was going to go somewhere with that, but let's not go there because I want to keep my YouTube channel. You have to be very careful on YouTube. Trust me, they will punish you. Next bullet point, robust security. Any security at this point is better than what they're dealing with now. They have holes in their system. People are getting their money stolen out of bank accounts. That's being kept quiet. The news is not going to run articles on, not going to speak about that or run major articles on that. People have been getting their identities stolen, and then their identities are sold on the dark web, which is hard to track down. And I don't think most banks want to even do that to notify, hey, your information is on the dark web, and it gets sold for tens of thousands of dollars because of them. They say nothing. So I mean, their systems are horrible. Also, not only that, they've been getting hacked. They're constantly under attack. Remember, I showed you some articles. This was a few months back. I showed you some articles about the banks being under attack. They're constantly being attacked. So yes, they need a system with traceability, greater security, immutability also, right? So they need all of that the new financial system is going to bring. Another reason why these bank coins are going to explode. Another reason why the government, central banks, commercial banks are working so closely with the likes of Ripple, Stellar, Algorand, and Hedera, and now Quant. Obviously, Quant is in so deep with the banks. It's unbelievable how rapidly they have done certain things, and I expect Quant to explode like no other. I mean that. Look at their circulating supply and their utility. Then look at the connections that they have. I expect Quant to explode ridiculously. And I'm not going to put my number out there, but it's a good number. Much better than the all-time high, and much better than the price that the humble prices that I put out there before. In my humble opinion, Quant will go much further. I'm trying to be conservative, not say too much, but I believe based on certain factors and calculations and such, and I could be completely wrong, I do believe that in the future, and it will take time, in my opinion, I would love for it to take off meteorically overnight. I would love for that to happen, but I'm trying to be as logical as possible. I believe it'll happen over time, but it will go much higher than $1,000. Much higher than $1,000. Easily, by the way, and that's without putting out my actual number. All right. Now, let's continue on here because this article is so good. I could have gone on and on and on with that, but we have more to get to. Let's jump into some Algorand news. Let's not leave Algorand out. They've been doing a great job. Oh, here, the article is titled, Algorand, Jasmine Farrell's favorite Algorand NFT projects, the vision for Zest Bloom. Now, get a load of this. We were just talking about this in the last video. And we were speaking about this a lot last year. Remember last year I said they're going to be combining artificial intelligence with quantum computing, because last year when we were dealing with Stellar more heavily, when there was a lot of Stellar information out there to be hunted down, it led us to IBM, who was going very heavily with quantum computing at the same time that they were doing rapid development and the pushing of WorldWire. Remember that? Then they went from WorldWire, then they went to their IBM Cloud financial offering, which is where they bring in all those big banks. Remember that? At that same time, they were moving very powerfully with the development of quantum computing. And I said, I believe that artificial intelligence and quantum computing will play a heavy role in the distributed ledger technologies of the future. I believe all these technologies will be congealed to create some sort of super technology. But here, listen to this. Algorand always does something big. Zest Bloom is a development company focused on the applications of AI, artificial intelligence, and blockchain. Oh, I keep saying it. Look at what Algorand has been releasing. Listen, these companies are very strategic and intelligent. They release little pieces at a time and build up to a big release. That's usually how it goes. Maybe it doesn't happen that way this time. They release all that information on the banks that were testing them, testing Algorand, running Algorand infrastructures, for CBDCs. Whether they actually use them or not, we'll wait and see. We'll see what happens in the future. But they release that information. Then they start releasing information on all of these different music projects, LimeWire, Napster, what's the Decentra? What's that other one? Decrypt. I think it's called Decrypt, right? Now look at this. Artificial intelligence on Algorand. Let's keep going. It says both technologies have disruptive potential but are difficult to integrate. The Zest Bloom team and I are focused on pioneering infrastructure to train and run useful neural networks with on-chain components. Okay, I want to stop here for a moment, and I don't have this document. Let me see if I have this document up. One moment, please. Just bear with me. One moment, everyone. My apologies. I don't have this document up, but listen. There's something, there was an individual I used to know when I was younger, and this individual used to always say, talk about synchronicities. Everything that used to happen that was similar or had a similar energy, this person would just say, Mick, it's synchronicities. And here's a synchronicity for you. They're talking about artificial intelligence here. I just spoke about it in the last video, and I was looking at a document that I had to manually search for, by the way. There's like certain documents, you can't find them on the actual websites. Like for instance, White House, the whitehouse.gov. You can do manual searches on Google and pull up certain PDFs, but when you go on whitehouse.gov, you type in the exact title, you type in that type of information, metadata, it will not come up. And this was the same on this particular website. It was on World Economic Forum's website. And in that document, they were pushing, the World Economic Forum was pushing for artificial intelligence to be utilized with distributed ledger technologies. Do you see where all of this is going? And they were speaking on how central banks should utilize artificial intelligence for the control, for a portion of the control over distributed ledger technologies. Everything is coming together very slowly. Artificial intelligence, if you have the right type and it's well developed, it can preempt all negatives. It does what most people cannot do, depending on its programming. It can ensure that it preempts hackers. It preempts any type of weaknesses in the system. It can hunt those weaknesses down and report it back to you, or it can heal those systems. It can be a healing program, a seeking out and a healing program. I mean, there's so many possibilities with this. And it ensures if this happens and they actually are combining artificial intelligence with these particular bank coins, they will be absolutely unstoppable. Let's continue on a little bit further here. It says, while that might not sound like it's related to NFTs, keep in mind, when you think NFTs, don't think colorful monkeys, right? Anime pictures. Think tokenization of everything. Everything. That is big money. So when you think about NFTs now, let's keep in mind big money and keep our eyes on that money. It says, while that might not sound like it's related to NFTs, the practical applications being explored by us definitely are. Zest Bloom is one of a small handful of companies focused on the intersection of smart contracts, blockchain data processing, and deep learning. Deep learning. The artificial intelligence will be a learning program. And from what it learns, it will be able to self-improve. Actually, that could be a little bit frightening. It all depends whether it's they program it to have a controlled measure of learning or whether it's able to learn at a geometric rate. If it's able, see, it's such a slippery slope because you have to be very careful with artificial intelligence. If it can learn at a geometric rate, it would easily surpass the intelligence of humanity. If it easily surpasses the intelligence of humanity, then, I mean, it would be, I think, completely logical that whatever fail-safes humanity has put in, that artificial intelligence, which would be approaching, and I mean this in all humility and no disrespect to anyone, but as a descriptive term, that artificial intelligence will be reaching a God level level of awareness that any sort of fail-safe or limitation that was placed on it by even the most brilliant human minds, it would be able to undo that. And quite easily so. So, I mean, you would definitely have to have certain limitations placed in there that it would not be able to learn at a geometric rate. So we'll see how this goes, but something to keep in mind, you know. While that might not sound like it, okay, so Zest Bloom is one of a small handful. We read that part, but bear with me. It says, after raising over $1.5 million in a seed round, so they're very serious about this project, we developed a patent-pending NFT search engine. In addition, we're also developing an IPFS caching service, creator tools for minting and airdropping, a white label marketplace, and embeddable sales tools. Our ultimate goal is to offer a suite of solutions to give artists more control and fewer responsibilities. Once you talk about artificial intelligence and the tokenization of everything, they're starting off small. Everyone does. Art is where they begin. It's not where they end. And if they're going to throw that out there, there's always an equal opposite to everything. Opposites can be reconciled, but if you know one side of the, of the pole, you can oftentimes know the other side. Opposites are often identical in nature. They differ in degree. Opposites are often identical in nature. They differ in degree, right? All right, so knowing that, if they're talking about art here, then somewhere off in the balance, in the opposite side of that spectrum, would be large financial institutions. Believe me, no one settles for small money. This is on Algorand. And even if it's not this company, I know that the banks, as I said before, World Economic Forum, and I believe the IMF, but don't quote me on that. But it would be logical to think that those larger institutions will also be very deeply into researching artificial intelligence and combining it with the distributed ledger technologies, the same that IBM was once researching. And I never heard a result from what that research, what the outcome of that research was, or what the conclusions were drawn from that particular research, which I wish we could have gotten our hands on. So, you know what? I had 2 more articles. We'll continue this tomorrow. We have a lot to cover. This is some good stuff. And I thank everybody out there for being here. Prepare yourselves now. I can't tell you what to do. I'm preparing myself. Know what you hold. Now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the Monday.